What's up, you guys? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to LEGO Arts. So, in the last episode, we did a showcase on Spider-Man Far From Home minifigure. Now, for this episode, it's going to be very, very quick, because this isn't really like a whole new showcase, but this is more of a reboot on LEGO Spider-Man. So, for this showcase, I haven't really changed so much of the minifigures, but what it did do was that I improved on the detailing work. So, after last episode, I still wanted to redo some detailing work to my Far From Home minifigure. And while I was working on the process, I figured, why don't we do some of my other Spider-Man minifigures? So, as you can see, we've made some changes to some of the Spider-Man. Of course, the Far From Home minifigure, the Tobey Maguire Sam Raimi Spider-Man minifigure, the Spider-Man 3 Black Suit minifigure, and the Infinity War Iron Spider minifigure. Some of these guys I worked on separately. First I did Far From Home. I then modified the Iron Spider-Man while working on Endgame Showcase, which I'll talk about at the end of this episode. And the Sam Raimi suit and the Black suit I worked on at the same time. So this episode is going to go by fairly quickly. Again, I won't get into too much of the detailing, but the main things that I'm going to show you guys is some of the detailing work. So like how we do new things on the show, on the showcase shows, we're basically going to take these minifigures one at a time, do reviewing them, explain my process, why we went this route, and then go from there. So without further ado, let's get the pedestal out and get this quick showcase on the road. So to start off this quick showcase is, of course, once again the Far From Home Spider-Man minifigure, as the movie comes out today. I'm not going to be able to see it until maybe Thursday or Friday, pretty much later on this week. So if you guys have seen it, please do not put any spoilers in the comments below. Let's all be kind to one another, and let's not spoil the movie for any of us. But anyways, the main work that I wanted to do was the head and the back spider, and I'll go in order. So the headpiece, the head design, it was fine, but the webbing, for the longest time, the webbing has been kind of a challenge for me. And especially when I looked at a bunch of photos of the Spider-Man mask, and I quickly realized that, this whole time I've been doing the webbing kind of wrong. For starting out, it was okay, but I actually messed up a little bit, and I didn't realize that until after uploading the video of this minifigure, and then realizing oh, I've been incorrect this whole time. So I quickly had to change that, but none of my paintbrushes that I have, none of them are small enough anymore that I could do that sort of precise sort of detailing for the webbing. For the arms and the legs, it was kind of easy, but for the mask, it was a little bit more of a challenge. So I wanted to try an experiment. So what I did is that I took these pens that my mom and my sister have. These are gel pens, and then I went on the mask, and drew out the detailing, all the webbing out. I did a starting point of this small dots. You can see you can kind of see it in between the eyes over here, and then I did the webbing of one at a time all the way, and kept it up all the way down, all the way to the back of the mask. And you can also see where I also did the spider. It's supposed to be white, but the only pens that were closest to white was silver. So with the limited colors that I had to go ahead with silver. And it's silver. I might try to look for a white marker, online, maybe on Michael's or some other kind of art shop. The only problem with gel pens is that the material, the ink can easily be smudged off, and I realized that when working on another minifigure. But I found a loophole in that. You can kind of see on the front of the mask there are small bubbles on there. And what I did was that first I took the mask piece off of the minifigure. I then did the detailing on. I also did the detailing on the back for the spider, and then I took some clear spray paint, and then gave it a couple of coats coats on front, and so now like when I put like my fingers like on the detailing work, the entire all the detailing work stays on, is on, and I was legitimately surprised by that. I was just like, that actually worked. That's amazing. So all in all, this is gonna be like the new technique that I'm gonna try out, not just for webbing, but I think for like some other detail work in the future, because my paint skills aren't fully awesome enough to do like those little detail works that require like why I do decals on like Drawcast on cast. But with drawing, it's not perfect, but it is, but it does help. It does make it a little bit easier to do like those small detail works. So that's like an idea that if you want to come up with like a Spider-Man minifigure of your own, but it's just like, how do I do the web pattern, the web detailing? Basically the idea is that whatever it is you're drawing on, I recommend you first put on the base and give it like a base color first. That way the pen and draws on much easier. I found that out when I was working on one of my other Spider-Man minifigures. But you do the base color first, then you go in and do the detailing. That way the pen goes on easier, and it makes it a lot better to do the full work. So all in all, this is a much better improvement towards the previous Spider-Man minifigure. So I'm really glad that I figured this method out, and I think it works perfectly. Next up on our list is, of course, one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man minifigures to this day, the Sam Raimi suit. Now, you guys may remember from my first Spider-Man showcase, that I found this minifigure in a box from a bunch of Legos that one of my friends gave me because her son wasn't using it anymore, and I found everything except for the headpiece. I then made my own Spidey head, and this came out as final results. For the longest time, I thought the minifigure itself was okay, but while doing the detailing work for the previous Spider-Man minifigure, I figured that how about we go ahead and give this minifigure a proper detail work. So as you can see, if we did a compare and contrast, there is a lot of difference with this one. For starters, the main detail work was with the feet. Maybe you could see that there's more detailing work on the feet than there was before. A little bit more on the webbing, more webbing on the hands. Same thing with the arms. The arms was a little bit trickier because as the red that I was using, I tried to make it forward to cover up the original design work without causing damage to the blue, and I don't know how I managed to do that, but in the end, this came out pretty good. I then went back and did the detail work on the arms, and then finally did the detailing work on the head. The eyes are kind of the same. I did have to fix them up a little bit, because some of the red managed to get in contrast with the black as well as the white. I then also had to balance both the eyes out a little bit, try to get them as even as possible. I then afterwards did the webbing. It was a little bit difficult on doing the detailing work for this minifigure. Here, you can kind of see of where some of the detailing work is kind of fading off. I realized that I had to put in a couple of coats because I missed a couple of spots for the figure, unfortunately. But this one was a little bit harder for the other one because since the whole minifigure was generally connected of itself, it did add in that challenge of applying on the detailing work without having to damage a lot of it. I can still move the head. On one of them I can't move, maybe two. I haven't checked on with the other minifigure, but I'll explain that as I go. Go for the next one. I can do articulation in the arms, which I was really glad for because I didn't take them off. Wait, hold on. There we go. But I didn't take the arms off when applying on the spray paint, so I was kind of worried that the spray paint would stick the arms to the torso or so. Luckily, that didn't happen, and all in all, the minifigure can still be functional. So all in all, I'm really glad that I came back to this minifigure because I think this one definitely got an improvement. Next up on our list is, of course, the black suit Spider-Man. I said it before in the showcase, and I'll say it again. And again, I'm not a huge fan of Spider-Man 3, but I love the black suit into it. the black suit from that movie. It's my favorite black suit out of all of them because not only does it represent and does it like represents the basic idea of Peter Parker with the symbiote, but the fact of how this suit still shows like some of the detailing work from the original like classic red and blue suit, as well as modifying it with its own design. I really like it. And when doing the detailing work, I definitely wanted to come back to this one. So, like beforehand, I did the detailing work on the feet and on the arms. I can still do articulation in the arms. At least I hope so. Yeah, this one. You just gotta put in a little force to it. Hopefully. There we go. With these ones, the arms we can move. The head, however, I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think it was because of spray paint. When putting this head back on, but now I can't move it. To move the head. I can't move it without damaging it. I tried to earlier, and I'm glad I didn't break it, but it's now come to the point for where, like, I can't move the head at all. Unfortunately. So, unfortunately, really, it's stuck in one position forever. But I guess that's, like, the price to pay. Like, when you try to, like, make some improvements to it. And I'm glad I really made improvements to this one. So, the torso painting, this is actually just acrylic paint. I didn't really do the gel pen, because I actually did the detailing work while I was making Far From Home at the time. But I basically just took some acrylic silver, and went back on the webbing, and the original webbing, and just applied it on. For the gel pen technique, and you can work that as well. You can see some small smudges on the feet and on the arms of kind of like where I did the work. Unfortunately, those were like a couple of small spots that I forgot to put on clear spray paints that I didn't realize that until afterwards. But it's an easy fix. And I still kept the eyes intact. I think it's pretty much still to this day that this Spider-Man minifigure has like some of the best eyes that I've done, especially the first time, when doing this first time around. I still don't remember exactly how that went, but like with Jack Skellington, it was like a case for I did it, and then it was just like, I cannot touch this. And I was definitely careful on like putting in like the base black around the original patterns, and then like putting in all the webbing. Maybe we can bend. There we go. We can kind of bend them back a little bit so you can see the rest of the detailing, like on the top of his noggin, and like bend it back up. But after doing a couple of fixes and also like recoloring the eyes, because for some reason the paint kind of faded out when it came into contact with the spray paint. But in the end, this came out as a pretty cool minifigure. It was one of my favorites back then, and it's still one of my favorites to this day. So last up on our list is the Iron Spider-Man minifigure. This one didn't go through too much, didn't go through too many changes. Well, maybe. I'd have to double check. I'll check my old video I did. But as you can see, like most of the torso is still intact. The only thing I really changed was that I added in like the blue marks for like representing the repulsors. I also changed the eyes a little bit. The headpiece, unfortunately, the color is not the same as the rest of the body, and that was kind of my fault. This one was sort of a last-minute decision of whether or not I wanted to completely redo for the detailing pattern, and it's mainly because like I kind of forgot of like what kind of color balance that I use to make the metallic red, like the first time around. So it was one of those cases where it's like, how can I replicate it? So yeah, but in the end, I finally decided that like since I'm doing it to the others, it's only fair that I do it for this one. Plus the way how it appears, it kind of looks better. I don't know why. You can kind of see some of the original detailing work on the back. I don't know why. That was sort of a weird thing that happened. But in the end, this came out as the final result. As you could also see, I changed up all of his piercers, And the main reason was because, well, there were actually two reasons. One, the original piercers were too big. Too big. Too big. He couldn't support himself without toppling over. And two, the brick pieces that I used for them broke apart. They were like really, really old, and like with enough exposure, eventually they just broke off. All of them did. So for a while, I didn't have the piercers back on. I was gonna go with like let's just have the Iron Spider-Man as normal. Let's see. Can I remove the head? Okay, I can. I can remove the head. Here we go. Okay, I'll let it up a little bit so we can get a closer look at the piercers. But pretty much with these guys is that like I made them all out of molding clay. I made them smaller, so that way he can support his own weight. Went back and did some detailing work, and then I kind of sand like the connector piece a little bit, like, hang on, let's see, remove it. I kind of sand it, you can see of like the amount of work I did. And I also like cut off almost all of the parts this thing originally had. To sort of like reuse it again, but in a different way. I was originally hoping to use like the mandibles from like the piercers from a mini. Okay, there we go. Woo! There we go. For a second there, I thought I was gonna break it, and it was just like, don't you dare break on me, otherwise I will slap you. But I was originally hoping to use like the piercers from like from the diamond mites, I think is what they're called. They're like the special little figures that I'm reluctant to say are like minifigures, but in general they're not. They're more of knockoffs almost. But so I could not find a figure that was just of itself without it being in a special pack. So I decided to go ahead with the LEGO Arts route and just come up with my own design of it. So all in all, this came out, and as the final results, I wish I could change the hair. I wish I could change the head color, or at least make it blend in with the rest of the suit. But unfortunately, this came out as the final result. It's not horrible, but it could have been better. And that does it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I know I said this was supposed to be short, but I guess it turned out to be like a usual time frame for a LEGO Arts episode. Which is kind of surprising, but at the same time, not really. But all in all, I'm really glad that I went back to these minifigures and redid the detailing work. I have to do the same thing to my Miles Morales minifigure. I haven't done that one yet. And pretty much the main reason with that one is that I want to redo the headpiece. I'm not super satisfied with it. It's bigger than I was hoping it would be. And since I need to figure out like a color balance with the detail work for that minifigure, I'm gonna go ahead and redo the head entirely, and when I'm done with it, I'll post some photos on my Instagram page so you guys can see it. And all in all, I'm really glad of how these guys came out. So if you guys like have any thoughts about the detailing work, like did you prefer the original? Do you like this new approach I went with? Let me know in the comment section below. And all in all, I think this will be like how we approach like some of the more like tedious kind of work when it comes to designing for minifigures and figures. All in all, they just came out pretty good. So some updates on some other showcases. Cases on the buildable figures. I haven't really touched those in a while. I finished two of them. I still need to get finished with the other ones, but I'll try to get those done. And on the endgame showcase. So Thanos and Nebula finally came in literally the next day after I said that I'm probably just gonna do the showcase and then work on them. It was both funny and kind of like a whole like face palm right in the face, because it's just like, really? Really? You come in when I complain? It's ridiculous, I know. No, but I'm getting those done as fast as I can. And that showcase will hopefully be up soon. I have an idea of what to do for a specific thing, specifically the Infinity Gauntlets, but I'm gonna need some specific parts before I can put my idea to the test. So as soon as I get those done, I'll be sure to do the showcase as soon as possible for you guys. And if you guys have like any ideas on some minifigures you want to see in the future, feel free to put it in the comment section below, and I'll see what my brain can come up with. But anyways, if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications. It really helps us work on Let's Plays, like our projects, and man, they're gonna have some fun. So anywho, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below what you think, share it with your friends, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, and here's a half of the road. Woo! Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. What do you guys, Moon Rises?